The ISA 1 Digital, the classic Focusrite mic pre, and simultaneous DI. Now with class-leading stereo ADC as standard.
We're here at AES in New York 2011, and I'm on the Dangerous Music stand with Mike to talk about the new Liaison insert processor switcher. Mike, tell me all through it, please.
Well, this product just came out about a month or two ago, and it's basically an insert switcher with 6 stereo insert points that you can plug in your outboard gear and create different routing configurations with very simple presets and different functions that let you do everything with the touch of a button. So basically, you've got 2 buses, bus A and bus B. You can either run them in series or in parallel. When you're running them in series, you would run bus A into bus B, which would mean that you can change the order of your gear. If you want 6 to come before 1, then you can put 6 on bus A and 1 on bus B, and now 6 comes before 1, and you can have whatever's on 6 precede 1, or you can, with the touch of a button, switch it back the other way to have what's on 1 come before 6. If you run them in parallel, you can run them into 2 different input points. So let's say you're using a mastering console. You could run bus A into insert 1, and you could run bus B into insert 2, allowing you to insert pieces of gear on bus A to use as a regular stereo insert, but to insert other pieces on bus B to use with a mid-side encoder. Or if you're mixing, you could use each bus as a separate insert point on a hardware insert in your DAW. Okay. So you could use, you can sort of use your analog gear as if it were plugins. You can put an insert point on a track saying output 3-4, which would be plugged into bus A, and you can now, with the touch of a button, insert up to 6 pieces of gear on that insert. If you want to, let's say you're processing drum stems on one track and vocal stems on another track, you could run one into bus A and another one into bus B and just choose what pieces of gear you want on your drum stem, what pieces of gear you want on your vocal stem. So that's the basic inserts. Now you have the ability to save your presets. So the cool thing about saving presets, aside from the fact that you can just quickly recall different signal chains that you like to use, is the fact that you have a preset saved and you might say, okay, I like this preset, but what if I do this and run this compressor into the parallel processing loop, which I'll talk about in a second. How does this compare to how I normally use my preset? Well, what you could do, you see the preset light blinking, you can hit the preset light, switch back to your preset, and hit it again, and it'll go back to what you just had.
Right.
So now you can change your configuration and A/B it with your normal preset the way you usually use it. The other cool A/B features that we have are a flip function. So now, if you have a compressor in 1 and an EQ in 2, and you hit the flip, it will now be EQ compressor. So with one button, you can now flip the order of your pieces of gear, allowing you to say, do I like this or do I like this? In the case of different signal chains, let's say you're tracking, and you say, okay, what if I want to track a vocal and I want to use this compressor and this EQ? I'm going to save that into a preset. Now I want to see what that same vocal would sound like with this compressor and this EQ, and save that into a preset. Now, while you have your singer singing without having to do any patching or any plug-in changing, you can switch between 2 signal chains and say, do I like this signal chain or do I like this signal chain?
Sure.
So there's lots of really cool A/B functions that allow you to quickly make decisions and make very accurate decisions, because your ear has a very short memory span.
Absolutely.
You, instead of having to unpatch and patch into a new piece of gear, by the time you do that, you've already forgotten exactly what it sounds like. So now you've got one button that allows you to do all of that.
Sure. I can hear it clunking away. Presumably all the switching is done with relays.
Yes, that's the beautiful part about this, is people look at this and they say, well, I don't understand. I can store presets, I can save things. Doesn't that mean it's digital? No, everything we do is analog, pure signal path. So we use a relay system, and when you recall a preset, all you're doing is sending a set of information to a resistor network that is changing the audio path, telling it go here or go there.
Fine.
So there's no digital components in your audio path. It's a pure analog signal path, and it was made with a mastering philosophy in mind. It's not just for mastering, it can be used for tracking and mixing, but everything we make is with mastering quality components and with the mastering philosophy in mind, meaning everything has to be clean, everything has to have a very low noise floor, everything has to be as transparent and clear as possible.
Okay. Now this parallel blend facility you're going to mention.
Yeah, so you have on your B-bus, you can send things to a parallel processing loop. So let's say you want to do some parallel compression on a drum stem. You can insert a compressor on 2 and send it to the parallel processing loop, and now you use your blend knob and you could slowly blend that compressed signal back in with your clean signal. And we have a handy little polarity switch here, because sometimes when you're using parallel processing, you get phase shifting, and if you flip the polarity, you can now fix all that.
Yeah. Looks really good. What sort of price are we talking about for the Liaison?
The street price of this is $23.99.
And it's shipping now?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.